5:45, there goes the drinks trolley. Just caught, I think, at the end there by young Susie in the pub. Did you catch a drink as it rolled past?
I did catch a drink, and it's a little wee dram of Auchentoshan single malt whiskey for Burns night.
Of course.
Auchentoshan, yeah.
Okay, that sounds very good. Pass it round. I might need it during the reading of today's confession, which comes from the Major. Let's just leave it at that, shall we? Simon and the Saintly Collective. The year was, if Bennett McIntyre is listening, you can have this. The year was 1999, and NATO had decided to deploy military force into Kosovo to save it from the unfolding humanitarian disaster that was unfolding there. The UK decided to send in the Paras, naturally, supported by a brigade of a couple of thousand logisticians, such as suppliers, mechanics, cooks, drivers, engineers, and so on, and pioneers. I was a major at this time and was regimental second in command in the Royal Logistic Corps, meaning I was the second most senior officer in the regiment under the commanding officer, who we'll call Nobby. My regiment, some 400 of us, deployed in RAF aircraft into Skopje, the capital of Macedonia, which is now North Macedonia, ready to support the invasion. The plan saw the Paras and other roughy-tufty types charge into Kosovo after the RAF and other air forces had done the bombing bit. This is obviously like a paraphrase of the official terminology.
Yeah.
Us loggies were to follow hot on the heels of the Paras to set up the support bases. The wonderful pioneers of my regiment went on to build refugee tented camps for displaced souls, help the infantry by doing extra security patrols, and many other good works. But before any of this could take place, my regiment needed its heavy kit and vehicles that were being offloaded in Thessaloniki in Greece. I was therefore tasked to be in the rear with the gear and get all the vehicles and kit up from the port in Greece into Macedonia, and then up a narrow road from Skopje to Pristina as soon as the route was cleared of enemy by the Paras. Cleared of enemy by the Paras being a very important bit.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah.
All went well with the first few convoys that set off. I decided to lead the final convoy of some 20 trucks up to Pristina to meet my local commanding officer and allow him to deploy our soldiers to their various tasks. Prior to flying out to Kosovo, I had splashed out on a Gucci-looking GPS device so that I could never be in the wrong place, or so I thought. The redoubtable Regimental Transport Senior NCO, Sergeant Wilson, was driving the lead Land Rover, and I hopped in as the convoy set off. All was going well as we drove along the motorway. We were making good progress, with almost no traffic around us, which I was surprised to see. I'd heard that there were major military traffic jams as the whole of NATO was trying to get through a narrow mountain pass into Kosovo. Hey-ho, clearly just rumours. We'd been motoring along nicely and I was chilling out when I checked my GPS device to see that I was leading a military convoy northeast instead of northwest.
Oh, no.
I suddenly recalled seeing Skopje Airport on my left when it should have appeared on my right. My concerns escalated when I saw a motorway sign indicating that Belgrade lay ahead. I became concerned enough to ask Sergeant Wilson if he was sure this was the right route, as at that particular moment, NATO air forces were bombing Belgrade and we really shouldn't be entering Serbia directly as we would not be well received. He responded with the panic-inducing words of, "No, sir, you're the regimental second in command. I assumed you were navigating."
Oh, no.
I looked in the rearview mirror to check on our convoy, and we seemed to have lost at least 15 trucks, the drivers of which, clearly realizing that their glorious regimental second in command had not taken the correct turn off the motorway, so were presumably steaming off to Kosovo on their own. Brave chaps. We turned off the motorway at the next exit, just prior to the border with Serbia, to head back to Skopje. For those unused to highly technical military tactics, it's called in the trade a U-turn. Such a maneuver is fraught with risk, as any one of my diminished number of followers could have missed my departure from the motorway and just carried on into Serbia, a country with which we were technically at war. Just not at that particular part of the Balkans, though. Luckily, the loyal five managed to exit and follow me and return to Skopje, chucked a righty, and headed up to Pristina. Though the trucks got stuck in heavy traffic, I got waved through by the military police, and I arrived at our HQ minus the whole convoy. The commanding officer, Nobby, had been really looking forward to seeing all his regiment complete in Pristina, kept looking behind my Land Rover, expecting to see the headlights of 20 trucks. When he asked where they were, my answer of, "Sorry, Colonel, I haven't got a Scooby, but I'm sure they'll turn up. They're good lads." And I'm all for empowering our young soldiers, apparently failed to meet the benchmark of an acceptable excuse. My confidence, reinforced with crossed fingers, was justified as they trickled in over the ensuing hours. My wallet took a beating, buying the lads beers over the coming weeks in the regimental bar we established. The regiment went on to deliver fantastic support to the denizens of Kosovo and made a real difference. Father Simon, I plead forgiveness from NATO for something I've never said before.
Wow.
For almost starting a second front, albeit a small one, with a Land Rover and 5 trucks in their altercation with Serbia. To the drivers of my regiment for sending them, or at least those most loyal to me, the few, on a giant detour of discovery around the Balkans. But most of all, to my former CO, Nobby, whose look of disappointment and bewilderment in equal measure as he heard my explanation of the epic trip will haunt me until I die. He actually recommended me for promotion, which I subsequently got, and I've never got lost in the Balkans again. Mainly because I have never been there. Anyway, classic fade.
Yeah.
Oh.
Excellent skills. Thank you, Major, for a fascinating tale. Quite an extraordinary one as well. Let's check in with Sister Susie, the voice of responsibility.
Well, Major, I think you were right when you said you were better in the rear with the gear rather than being up front. Because I think you had a job to do, and I don't think you gave it enough attention, and I don't think you did it properly, and I think you should have. So therefore, I'm not going to forgive you.
Asking for forgiveness from NATO, as a line, is pretty good.
Well, yes, good line.
Brother from another.
I'm going to say that's the first time anyone's had to apologise to NATO, and that's the reason why I'm going to forgive. Also, because I don't think we've ever had a confession where someone has admitted losing a convoy. Sorry, I lost the convoy. I'm sure they're on their way. Definitely forgiven. Superb story. Well done.